Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Men, which is the latest film written and directed by Alex Garland. The movie follows a widow who recently lost her husband to suicide. It sounds like I've talked about this movie already, or at least I've started a plot summary with that exact same sentence. Whatever. She is grief-driven, she's upset, so she decides to rent a house in the middle of the village. This all takes place in the UK, and she just figures this is a good way to just relax, calm down, be in nature. But then really weird things start happening when she starts encountering all the men in this village, and it leads into something a lot more sinister that goes back to her husband's suicide. I gotta be honest, every time I saw a movie this year and the trailer for Men played, I couldn't help but laugh. It seemed like a very bizarre trailer. I mean, it's A24, so of course it's gonna be a bizarre movie at the end of the day. But the way the trailer plays out and it gives you this horror vibe and then ends with the title, Men, you kinda can't help but laugh. And without fail, that trailer makes most of the audience in whatever theater I'm in laugh as well, because it just seems like a silly title and such a silly trailer. But you know what? As I mentioned before, this is written and directed by Alex Garland, who directed one of my favorite movies of the last decade, Ex Machina. And even though I didn't love Annihilation, there was so much in that movie to like up until the ending. You can watch my original review, but when that ending happened in Annihilation, I just thought, that's really weird, but you know what, the rest of the movie's pretty good. So I had enough confidence in him that he would make another really great movie with this, and it definitely starts out that way. It definitely has an interesting setup. The cinematography is just outstanding. This movie is shot lusciously, and it just gives you a real sense of atmosphere where this whole area seems peaceful, but you know there's something more going on that just doesn't quite feel right. And it's just a beautiful looking movie. Your lead in the movie is Jessie Buckley, who does a really good job. And throughout this movie, her character goes through a lot of struggles, a lot of problems, and at the end of the day, you really feel sorry for her, especially with each encounter she has with some of the village people. And when you see the full backstory of how her husband committed suicide, and when all the village people bring up her husband's death, you feel so bad for her, and it just makes you so frustrated on her behalf. So she does a really good job at selling it, and like I said, the movie does look beautiful and it has a great setup. But throughout the course of the movie, it just gets a little pretentious. There's that sequence in the tunnel where she just shouts out, and there's an echo going on in the background. They play that during the trailer. That's actually a track in the movie, similar to how Annihilation had that weird, and that was actually the film score. They do the same thing here, but when they bring up that chorus again throughout the rest of the movie, it comes across as really pretentious, and it's mixed with shots that you're not quite sure what the meaning is behind them. Now, I would love to hear someone else's perspective on what they got out of those shots, but for me, it just seemed really confusing. There are several shots in this movie involving dandelions that I tried to understand what the meaning of was, and then by the time you got to the end of the movie, I just thought, yeah, I'm kind of sold on how I feel about this. It started off really good. Like, I would even say worth seeing in your lifetime because of the first half. But as the movie went along, it just kind of decreased in quality, and that ending is so weird and so bizarre that I'm just like, okay, this is a movie that you need to watch at your own risk. There are some things to admire in it, but really at the end of the day, I like this premise a lot better when it was called The Night House. And I made a slight reference to that movie when I was describing the plot to this one. And really, when you compare the two movies, The Night House actually has a lot more going for it for a lot less. Whereas this movie is trying to say a lot more, but it just really fumbles. And I'm like, you guys had a very simple plot, and The Night House just did it better. So I'd be willing to give Alex Garland another chance, because much like with Patty Jenkins, I like 2 out of his 3 movies that he's directed, and those are pretty good odds. Like, hey, you made one great movie that I love, you made another one that is mostly cool, except you kind of fumbled the ending, and then this one that I really didn't like. But you know what? I look forward to see what you're gonna do next. And there you go, that's my review for Men. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I wanna know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my review for Men. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.